Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to Stream Street Day 500 Days of Hot Warhammer Summer. Hello, everyone. Boom! We did it. Done. And the stream is out. No, I'm joking. Let's stay. Let's fucking stay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here on today, 500. Today's show is going to be the aptly named YouTube clickbait title, 500 Days of Talking About Warhammer and What I've Learned, is what it is. Thanks, Mum, Dad, for subscribing. Warhammer Rob. Nurgle Matthew for donating 10 gift subscriptions. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Nurgle Matthew, yeah. MJ Pegasus, fuck you, buddy. What's going on? I got a list of things I'm going to talk about. We'll go through it. It's going to be fucking cool, is what it's going to be. I'm going to start off the 500th show by thanking all of you, be you YouTube guys, be you Hydra homies, be you the fucking Twitch chat, you psychopaths, for hanging out with me for 500 days. My thanks to you is how we start it. Thanks, Dud Life, for subscribing. Scott B, what's going on? This is the day we spend our channel points on. No, we won't do that. So yeah, anyway, none of that. Right, I'd like to just chat today, so don't do no gift subscriptions or any of that stuff. Nurgle Matthew, thank you everyone for subscribing already. Let's just fucking talk. Yeah, let's hang out and talk. Let's not make it about anything else, because that's what I'd like it to be. Also, check out my hot tub, baby. I'm in one. For 500 Days of Warhammer, can you name your 500 favorite war scrolls? That's exactly what I was gonna do today. That's exactly what I was going to do. 500 War Scrolls, let's go. Scott B, I have 30. Okay, we'll do a channel point show next week where you can all spend your channel points on fucking God knows what. I think you're able to spend your channel points on, promoting the channel. That's a thing, I think, that you can do externally if someone wants to YouTube that, but I don't know, whatever. Okay. You can't all redeem Hydrate because I've only got this much water, so... Shadow Sun, gorgeous seeing you here. Rob Kelly, what up? Kill Panic, yes. Thanks MJ Pegasus for donating 500 bits. Right, okay, so we're going to start off by looking at something, right? My best mate showed me this, so we're going to go and check it out. Hold on. Let's do this, right? This is where we're going to start. What did I learn in 500 days of talking about Warhammer, other than me and the Twitch chat are fucking going nowhere for the rest of my life? We're just doing it for life. So... that's what I learned, top of the thing. So let's look at this. This is Stillmania. This is an image of Nigel Stillman rocking like a fantastic 80s setup there. Looks great, right? And this is the jump-off point for the conversation today that I want to read out. So for you Hydro homies, I'm going to read it out. No, Stillmania, no, says Nezil. Are we not allowed to talk about this, Nezil? Let me read it. And then let me talk about it, because I think I'd like to write some Robmania, which is different. Tristan, let's fucking go. Right. I'm going to read it out. Nigel Stillman is well known for playing in the spirit of the game. In the spirit of the game, in quotation marks. This is a personal opinion of the ultimate spirit of wargaming. This is his personal opinion on the ultimate spirit of wargaming. Hi, James. You having a day off? Hey, Dan the Khan. I hope you're well. Vietnam vibes. Don't worry. Pick your army to just under 2,000 points, apparently, is his personal philosophy. Write down the roster and never amend it again. Make sure it fits the background. Collect and paint the army. Give it 3 coats of gloss varnish, then never touch it with a paintbrush again. Probably we could amend that. I think that's old school days. I think you could probably, like Matt Readiness says, pick one army, get smashed every game from then on. Yeah. Wallaloo, get hucked. Thanks for being here. Outnot, what up? Yes, Darren. I remember reading this article in White Dwarf and thinking it was a load of shit. Agreed, but we'll come back to it, right? Give every character and regiment a name. Okay. Do not even possess extra or alternative units. Just stick with what you've got. Okay. By the way, just at this point, there's a Games Workshop marketing executive sweating profusely while we're already here. They're already like, what? Why did Games Workshop ever promote this philosophy at any point? We'll come back to that in a moment, I think, because there's significant changes, right? No summoning bold move. Can you imagine him promoting you to never buy more models again? That's exactly my point. Make a carrying case that fits the army exactly, therefore buy nothing else. Fight every battle with the same army and never change anything in it. Okay. Fight in big games with just your 2,000 points and to hell with the odds. Okay. Never vary or change your army in any way and resist all temptation to do so. Okay, or common sense. Model every magic item or character who carries it, no matter what it is. Now that I agree with. When you see what you see in the army is what you get. Take this literally. That's a bit weird. Dropping in on my way to the office, say hi. Thanks, Bomb Squig. Hey, Hermanist. The thing is, this was back in the 90s. FAQs weren't a thing, so once you had an army, it was never changed until the next army codex came out 20 years later. Has Nathan modelled his Git style? He may well have. Choo choo. Thanks for donating some bits. Never seen this before, says Tokyo Nift. Okay. Who cares if all your opponents know your army composition by heart? Question mark. Let the only surprises be your deployment and your tactical moves. Okay. Shrug off defeat. Learn the lessons and keep on practicing play for the fun of playing. And when you win, the excellence of your generalship will be beyond doubt. Now, I think I probably disagree with 80 to 90% of this, is the point. But, and this is really important, shrug off defeat, learn the lessons, and keep on practicing play for the fun of playing is probably, thank you to 500 Days of Stutter for donating £7 to the show. Thank you. It's appreciated. 500 Days of Stutter. Man does not give a fucker was aiming for that triumph before it was a thing. What a hipster, says Diadrin. He was. Scott B, this is pretty much how I played Deepkin, to be fair. Yeah, okay, Scott B, but your army has only got better in 4 years, you fucking nutter. So, fine. It's Anzo. Thanks for donating some gift subscriptions. And thank you to Kansas for being here as well. Congrats, Rob, on 500 days. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Anyway, so that's still Mania. That's still Mania, right? And that was in the 90s. And it may be a time for an update. Maybe time for a 2021 version of Still Mania, which is kind of what I'm hoping this show will be. For me, at least. Maybe for you guys. Maybe for you listeners. Maybe not. I don't know. But we'll call it some Rob Mania. And I'll write it out in bullet points after. This show is going to be my plan, and we'll present some Rob Mania. Yeah, you've got it. That's going to be the plan. But an interesting take on wargaming. And as someone who's just spent 500 days straight only talking about wargaming, I think I've learned a bunch. Probably because I started out really stupid in the first place. But thank you, Arcane Ring. Big love to you. Ronmania, that's good. Thanks, Bobbin. What up? I think I learned a lot. So I'm going to go through those things I think I've learned. And at the end, I'd love you guys. Hey, Halalex, what's going on? I'd like you to tell me what you think you've learned in 500 days. Or if you watch on YouTube, leave it in the notes. If you're listening to the podcast, write on a bit of wood and send it in to our address, whatever you want. Thanks to Watch Peep Show for donating £6.90 to the show. I've watched Peep Show. I've watched it. Okay? It's not Mania until you take your shirt off, brother. That's good. Jug PLC has suggested that I spent 400 days talking about terrain, which is very fucking close to true. At least 8 months of that. Thanks, Brad Glover. Big love to you. All right, so I'm going to let you guys vote. Oh, no, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. All right, so what have I learned in 500 days talking about Warhammer? Let's start on the game. Not the most important feature, or maybe the most important feature. We're going to start about the game. And that's 40k and Age of Sigmar. Those are the things I talk about. I don't talk about Kill Team. I don't talk about fucking any of that other stuff, which is fine. So from tomorrow, it will be 500 days plus. That's correct. 500 days plus. Please use your plus emojis in the chat. Murray Truelove, the game is perfect. Okay, my first point about the game, and this is both games, is that after 500 days of talking about Warhammer, I don't think I've ever been more excited about the game. I've never been more excited about Warhammer ever in 500 days. Like, not when I first started, not when... None of it. And I think there's a bunch of reasons why, which I'll talk about, and I think it's mainly because like everything else I'm going to talk about, my focus has reshifted a lot. Um, like, thank you, Noga Matthew. Big love to you. Like my mental scape over these 500 days has shifted, I think, fairly considerably. Maybe because of overexposure, effectively. I think I've been overexposed to some elements of the game or the structure of creating the game so much that I've just given up on even fucking talking about it. Specifically, we're talking about the company, but we'll come back to that maybe towards the end. I don't know. But I've never been more excited about the game. I think the game is wildly imbalanced for both game systems. That's kind of my next point, is that balance in both these game systems is laughable. In fact, even really to describe them as competitive games is laughable, is what I'm going to say. Like, I think it's laughable. Like, you look at both game systems and, like, it's insane. You can definitely be skillful at 40k, and you can definitely be skillful at Age of Sigmar. Both of those two things are super true. There is sometimes a rock, paper, scissors mechanic, like, sometimes. But ultimately, it's a bit of a joke. Like, but that brings me back to, and I would like to bring you back to, I've never been more excited about the game than I ever have been. Because I think I just gave up on that part, right? That's where I went. What's everyone saying? It's interesting how at the start you seem really focused on having guests, but it's mostly evolved to the banter between you and us. Not that the guests aren't great at mine. Scott B, great point. And if you've got any points about the show over the past year, yeah, I've loved just Scott B. Like, I feel like I know you a bit. Like Colonel Cabbage, I know you. Murray True Love, what up? Cup. Thanks for 500 days. You're the reason I started on the Warhammer journey. 3,000 Stormcast and 2,000 points of Grots later. Well, it fucking hates you. My pleasure, Cup. Big love. Shadow Sun, I'm pretty solid at 40k here in Denmark, but I've honestly come to the same conclusion that it can't be taken serious. 2-day event in Stern this weekend. Who wins? Thanks, Scotty Jock. Don't know. Sure someone will, though. Good luck. Hey, 40k for grown-ups. Thanks for being here. Mamdare. I like the mix of guests and just chat days. Me too, T-Man Cash. I like the guests. I've had some incredible people on in 500 days. Thank you to every single one of them. They've all been great. Is anything in life that serious? Iron Gutsman, you're part of this. Iron Gutsman is part of this, I think. I'm excited to see how much more downhill 40 can go next year. It's legit become a meme. Okay, balance is a joke. Like, and the game as a game is a joke. Right? But that doesn't mean, and this is really important, and this maybe touches on why I started off with the Stillmania. If you guys, like Chris Frostrin, who's just joined us, didn't join me at the start, the Stillmania meme, or talking about Stillmania, he has like a quintessential essence about the game. I'm probably going to spend most of this talking about the game. He has like an idea. He's like, you build a 2,000 point army, you play it forever, and you get smashed, and that's it. And honestly, I don't think I disagree with it. I think it's going to be awful for loads of different reasons. You're going to lose loads. There's going to be massive imbalances. You're going to feel like you're overwhelmed and underprepared. Yeah, always outnumbered, never outgunned. But people like Stuart in the chat, Darren, who else can I see it there at the moment? Pete, right? Like, people who, like, just don't give a fuck about, like, so there's loads of things that happen, loads of things I'd like to touch on in these points, so, like, I'm going to ramble. But having watched competitive coverage even during lockdown when models weren't an issue, having done the Super Series, which I felt was, like, the best representation of trying to create balance inside of a game, but also create a game that made loads of sense, from like a competitive standpoint, because I removed lots of those like things that I think kind of broke the game. I added extra rules in on terrain and other stuff to make the game, I felt, more applicable. Thanks to King Clargan for donating £40. That's incredibly kind of you. Thank you. So fucking lush. Much love and appreciation on that. That's crazy nice of you. Thank you so much. Wow, crazy. Thank you. But the point, and thank you very much, and please no one else donate anything now, because I just want to make my points, and I appreciate you all being kind. You've been so kind for 500 days. So like, hey Riddlesworth, big love to you. The podcast genuinely helped my mental health during lockdown. Making the podcast, I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Making the podcast helped mine as well. So thank you for being the other side of that. Right. I've learned a lot watching the show and learned about other factions a bit more. It's helped my gaming experience, even with my two friends who I play with. I'm glad, Stephen Mac. Thanks. My point is, I've never been more excited. The balance is a joke, and maybe competitive gaming is fascinating and a bit of a joke as well. Like, how do you really clap yourself on the back with an army that's got a 70% win rate? I don't really know. Like, I don't get it. I don't get how you, like, tout that to your friends. It's a bit asinine. Whereas the people who inspire me, like Gutsman, over the past year has inspired me. Yeah, he's inspired me as a wargamer because he just takes these weird, thank you Ty Winden for donating £6.90 to the show. Like, he does this weird, like, it's very much appreciated. He does these weird out there lists, and it's great. Even actually just going back to the Stats Center last week where we saw these weird living cities lists go 4-1. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the Marathi Bow Snakes list going 5-0. Like, high five. You did it. Now, I don't care. I want to go read the other weird shit. Like, I'm always more impressed by the people who do it with the weird shit. So, going back to the Stillmania idea, you just grab your army, you paint your army, you just play with your army. I'm so invested in that. That's it. Like, that's where life is. Just play, because I only give a fuck about playing Warhammer, right? Just get out there and just, like, play, right? Like, play is what I'm trying to say. So balance is a joke. Maybe competitive gaming is a joke. And if you do go competitive gaming, you should just do it to fuck with people. In my opinion, you should just go and fuck with people. I think all that other shit that surrounds it is nonsense. Which brings me on to my next point. I've got another point. Herminister, thank you very much for saying Mono Knights to win. Hey, the Jack. I don't often watch live. I'm in Canada, but this is the show I try and catch as much as possible and recommend to my friends. Hey, man, my pleasure. My pleasure. Hey, dude, big love to you. Reps are greater than anything else. Final Flash, which goes back to. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to the Stillmania point that I wanted to talk about. That final point that he made there, or second to final point. Shrug off defeat, learn the lessons, and keep on practicing and play for the fun of playing. Play for the fun of playing. Now, that's easier said than done when the competitive scene has got armies that are just going to dominate you with 70% win rates. Then I'm going to make a bold statement. Just don't fucking go. Just play with your mates. Like Darren in the chat, very competitive gamer, but he's got a great group of mates who just goes and plays with and pushes models around. Like, if anything I've learned from these 500 days is go find some people who fucking vibe with you and just go hang out with them. Yeah? Like, pick your battles and also play your hobby, is what I'm going to say. So that's my next point, is balance is a joke. Competitive gaming is fascinating. You should just use it to fuck with people. And that's from me. That's Ronmania. That's what it is. It's fuck with people and have fun. That's Ronmania right there. Thanks to Bobbin for donating £50 to the show, man. Thank you for being so kind, my giant Swedish friend. One day we shall cuddle and I shall imbibe some sort of drink with you. I don't drink, but I'll have one beer with you, Bobbin, to you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. So my final point on gaming. I started out with I've never been more excited than ever. I'm excited that the games are probably a joke, but then I'm still the most excited ever. It's my most important one. Don't listen to content creators, especially me, because they're all dicks. That's what I'm going to say. That's my one on the game. Thanks, David Smith, for donating 5 gift subscriptions. Yeah, very kind of you. Just go play instead. Like, come and play me. Yeah? Just fucking, like, find someone and go play. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's true, we're all dicks. It is. Like, because, what are we doing it for? I'm doing it for work. Like, I'm trying to make, like, the Super Series and live coverage be, like, a thing. That's my, like, dream. That's what I want to do, and I want to get paid doing it. That would be so fun. But other than that, like, no, I mean, even that's a selfish endeavor. That's my endeavor. which you guys are supporting me at. Like, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Plymouth Troll says, you also suck, but I love you. See, that's why I don't make content. It's not from laziness. No, my point is, and this is not to criticize other content creators, so I'm targeting myself only, is that it detracts from that quintessential element from that Stillmania line is, and we'll say it one more time, yeah, play for the fun of playing is where I'm at. Play for the fun of playing. Mike Rockburns. Mike Rockburns. Thank you for donating £50 to the show. You really don't have to. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's very lovely. You've all been so kind. Stop now. It's very fucking kind of you. Super appreciated. Like, very much. That's great. Your real dream is that DJ Lit Biscuit into the wee hours of the morning. It is, actually. Warhammer isn't fun, says Plymouth Troll says. Fuck you. It isn't fun when you don't approach it in the fun way. Iron Gutsman says, I reckon just doubling down on your own personality and expressing it in the game is the way. There you go. There you go. No, I don't want you to donate till I cry. I'm not going to. I'm not in that zone today. I just want you to stop. I appreciate you forever. You're so fucking kind. But let me just get on with my points. I've got some points. Let me get my points out. Nikos, I just lost to Jakari last night. I had a blast. Did you actually have fun, Nick? I hope you did. I hope you did. Okay, right. So that's the game. The game's brilliant. Okay, that's the game. Hobbying and collecting. What have I learned in a year of hobbying and collecting? Take your time and don't give in to impulse. Buying isn't as good as learning or playing. Okay. Take your time and don't give in to impulse. All of you, and I know you're going to be like, don't fucking say it, Rob. I'm going to say it. Look around. You've got loads of shit you don't need. Loads of shit you don't need. But I tell you, one of the things that I would have fucking begged for in like January or February when I was like locked in here forever, talking to you guys, is just seeing one of you for a day, yeah, and playing some fucking Warhammer with you. That would have been the best. You know, you're like I could have bought, someone could give me be like, oh, you can have every model from Games Workshop, and I'd have been like, fine, yeah, but that wouldn't be, or I could play Warhammies with one of my friends, like Dayton, like fucking, I'd have given all of that for Dayton to just have one day and play Warhammer with him, right? Yeah, that would have been the best, right? Hot Tub Baby, you got it. Hey, JP. So that, like, the hobbying and collecting side is something that you should just take your time with. Like, and I get it because thanks Riddlesworth for donating £1.69. Super kind of you. Very much appreciated. I get what you mean. We've started playing again in a small group and it's amazing after so long, says Everblight. Yeah. I do need that extra box of squigs for a random game I'll never play. Sold all my started projects, says Lee Bromley, 2 weeks ago. With the cash raised, I bought 4 event tickets and hotels. There you go. Because what did I learn in 500 days? I learned that there is nothing more valuable than the time I can spend with people. Like, basically. And sometimes it's going to be overwhelming, right? I'm going to spend too much time with people. Thanks to James Powell for donating £20 to the show, which he should never do because James Powell does too much for me that I could never repay. So I'm going to immediately PayPal that back to him. So fuck him. But appreciate you, James. It's not the buying, it's the friends we made along the way. Hams fans, I know that that's a boring thing, but it is. Like, to go back to Stillmania, yeah, the guy, big love to you, Henry Steele, big love to the Bogglers, all the friends we lost, Blade Lumineth. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, that's lunch for you and Matt, as I can't take you out. Thanks, bud. Anyway, take your time and don't give it to impulse. Buying isn't as good as learning, and it isn't as good as playing. It isn't as good. Having one army you know really well, inside and out, that essence of Stillmania, without being quite as serious as the Stillmania bullet points, is just don't, like, think if you're having a low day, instead of buying some stuff, message someone and just be like, hey, do a tweet, do a message, be like, I'd like to do some hobby, or I'm working on this project and I want to talk about it. There will be people out there who want to talk about it. They want to hang out. They want to be a bud. Like, that's what they want to do. So you should do that. Like, I really do think. The other thing is don't give in to the pressure of having to achieve. That's also really important in 500 days. Like 500 days of watching people go through hobby projects. I've no amount of people in the chat who've jumped in and they've said, oh, I feel really demotivated today. I'm like, well, it's the middle of a global pandemic. Like, fucking, like, don't do any hobby. Like, if you feel demotivated, don't do it. It's meant to be for fun. Like, your hobbying and collecting should be like only as happy as it makes you, right? Time is the only quantifiable thing we can never get more of, says Team and Cash. Finding value in spending that time here has been a delight for me. Thanks, man. This is time well spent. Cheers to all the Grot Gang members and future members. Thank you to you, Team and Cash. Every moment any of you have spent in here has been a pleasure for me. So that's hobbying and collecting. Also, just some small things I learned in 500 days. Get a WAP palette. That Marco Frostroni guy is pretty awesome. Use spray cans from a paint shop. Games Workshop charges you £12 for a can of paint, and the fucking graffiti shop guy charges you £4. They're rip-off merchants, so just get it from there. Hobby shouldn't feel like work, says Scott B. It does stop for a bit. Definitely add spells to that. Yeah, just stop for a bit. Just do something else, and that doesn't mean play a computer game. Like, go outside. I don't know, throw a rock at some fascists. What? Like, not actually. Obviously, I don't think I can advocate for that. So don't do that. A WAP palette. What's that? Things I learned. Turns out 3D printers are a thing now. I learned that too. And I guess also that's the other thing, is that hobbying and collecting should be something that you do outside of Warhammer. What I mean by that is, that's something I think I've learned in a year, is that Games Workshop do make some amazing things, but so do loads and loads of other people, or you can make them yourselves, and you should go and explore that, because really, you're not giving yourself the full experience. It's like, and again, this is definitely going to be me, and some people will be like, shut the fuck up, Rob. You've got your one playlist of the music you like, and you play it all the time, and you never listen to anything else. I respect that, because that's also me. So go and listen to other music is what I'm saying. Thank you very much to Scrivo for donating $5.69 to the show, and also being the angel on my wing. What a babe. Shelf Loathing, variety in your hobby. No need to be stuck to Games Workshop. Check out what else is out there, and some spice to your paint tables, historicals, small scales, all that other stuff. Little tiny doggos. Has anyone seen the Dungeons and Doggos? How is that not perfect? And also, how is that not something you want to put into your Warhammer game? How do you not want to have a little doggo in your Cities of Sigmar army, or your Chaos army, or whatever? Like, you turn something into a spawn from Kairos, and then you place a little doggo on it on the right size base, and someone's like, that's not a spawn. You'd be like, you shut your mouth. That's my spawn. And it looks great. Thank you. Also, great shout from Nikos, who said it's the hobby, not Games Workshop's hobby. And that's 100% true. Spaztech, about 30 months ago, I bought this 3D printed thing. Looks interesting. 3 months later, I have 4 printers and I'm starting a print service. There you go. You've got it. Hermanist, I've definitely learned that Games Workshop aren't your friend, and people need to remember that. Yeah, we'll come on to that later. I'm going to start collecting friends instead of Warhammer, says Hams Fans. We've got a big chest freeze at the garage which you can never use. Do that, bud. Do that. I'm in that. So that's the game. More excited than I've ever been. Hobbying and collecting. That's great. That's fine. But don't put pressure on yourself. The more you buy, the more pressure there is. Don't do that to yourself. Go out there and play some games. Right, my next point isn't really in a category, so I'm just going to say it anyway. Innovate. This is something I've learned in 500 days, and this touches on the fan of Hams. Thanks for donating £50 to the show. That's super kind of you. It's deeply appreciated. I want you to know. Thanks everyone for donating some cash. It's been very lovely. You're all wonderful. Thank you. Rob, would you consider allowing proxy models in your AOS events? That's what's stopping me. Yes, I would. I think that's super okay. Gamer Miller. Like, I think that's encouraged, in fact, if you think it works better. Thanks very much, by the way, the fan of Hams. Super kind. Super kind. Hey, McLeod, big love to you. Pile of shame, more like pile of people. There you go, Neuroshock Stubbs. Because what's going to happen, like in 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years, you look back, I think about, we'll do that in community in a minute. That's a different section. Let's go on innovate. Go and buy stuff now. I'm not going to, Bobbin. I'm not going to. I might donate it all to a charity or something. I don't know. Like, thank you. Innovate. This community in game is so new, really, this is my statement, that you can create huge things just because no one else is doing it doesn't mean it's a bad idea. Let's talk about TTS. So, about 4 years ago, living with Nathan, I come home one day and he's playing with my friend Jonathan, and they're swearing at each other at a computer machine because they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. And they're playing Warhammer on TTS. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, way before the lockdown, right? And then lockdown happened, and then people started to use thanks Diadrin for the gift subscription, super kind of you. People started using it all the time, right? They used it all the time because you couldn't go out and meet people. It was a way to do that thing that you wanted to do, even though you couldn't do it. And then Owen and other people, Pask, all the guys around the world, set up servers and everything else. And the point is they just innovated, right? They were just like, cool, what are we going to do to make this thing happen and carry on? And it became this huge global thing. I did the Super Series, which I thought was fairly innovative, and I was quite happy with that. But then during that time, leading up to the Super Series, I was like, I really wish we could do stats better, like stats properly, like stats good. And then fucking Ziggy comes out the woodwork and just smashes it out and does all this amazing stuff. And then the stats filling team, shout out to all those guys. They turn up and we start putting in all these stats into these amazing like breakdowns of how armies work. I hadn't really considered like the wound volume in armies previously, or the melee volume, or some really other stuff until me and Ziggy and the stats guys broke it down. And then no one else is really doing it, like ever. Like look at global 40k stats. If it wasn't for the Falcon, they just wouldn't exist. If it wasn't for one guy who just made the effort, AOS reminders, War Scroll Builder, like pick a thing, yeah. There are so many innovative projects that are ongoing now in 40k and in Age of Sigmar, and you should just go and do one if you want to do one. Like Age of Something recently with his like fucking cute drawn videos where he's like breaking down like Age of Sigmar stuff and making me laugh. I'm into it. That's great. You go all the way from there to something as curated and well done as what Halo does. Like there's so much innovation available, like as content creators, or just not even as like content, as just a thing. Like you 3D print a bunch of terrain because you think it works better. Like whatever that thing is, you design terrain. Where's Shadowsun in the chat? You know, you see that there isn't Eldar-shaped L's on Earth. No one's ever designed them, and then he just designs them so they exist now. Like there's so much that you could do, and I think that's one of those things that if you want, you should go and. Like, if you're like, there's a problem with that needs fixing. Like, we still don't really have a good pairings app. I'm just going to fucking say it, man. Like, we just don't have one. Like, shout out to BCP and Tabletop TO and all that other stuff. We don't have one. We don't have one place where you input your list, it automatically checks it's right, it does the pairings, it kicks out all the stats, and it fucking gives you an ELO. We don't have that. That seems like that's really fucking easy to create. And I'm pretty certain we'll have one soon. But, like, why doesn't that exist, is what I'm saying. So anyway, yeah, that innovation, I think, is one of those really important points. Have I seen the Zorp Minas Tirith build? I have not, Only Sheldrake. Thanks for that. Just because I'll get on it. Please do. For the Apple Awards this year. Just a side note, one of my favourite things over the past 500 days has been doing the App of the Awards a year with Just Nikos. If you guys want to go watch that back on our YouTube, you should. And also, shout out to the App of the Year Awards this year, which are going to be hot fire, is what I'm going to say. Arcane Ring wants to make a point, and I'll read it because it's a good one. The perspective. The hobby is surprisingly broad and deep. Your efforts have helped many of us appreciate the threads of the game that might have otherwise been hidden given circumstances of real life. In addition, it's about me. No, it's not a good one. Thanks, Arcane Ring. Thank you. You're very kind. The board is also very excited. They would. Should we get a council, Nick? For an App of the Year Awards council, and we should just invite all of the Twitch chat. I'm into that. If you're into that. The App of the Year Awards, where my work and hobby saltiness collide. All right, so that's innovation. Okay, next subject. What have I learned in 500 days about community? Oh God. Okay. Number one. Oh, have I? I think I've deleted something. Number one. Let's talk about my personal experience in the community, and that's this. The past 500 days have meant more to me, I think, than maybe they have. The relationship between streamer and audience is not what I think I expected 500. This is a personal thing of growth. It's not what I expected maybe 500 days before. And what I mean by that is I think I get more out of it than you guys get out of it, is what I mean. I feel like it's my happy place. Like, well, apart from a couple of other places, but specifically one. And she's a cutie. How to best express this? The ability to just hang out with a community that's like me. Which is a fucking criticism on all of you. Which is just a straight fucking dig. Whoa, hold on now. Yeah, did he just insult us all? I think I might have. Straight fired. Thanks, Angus, from Big Love. But my point is that that's possibly the people talk about community all the time, and Games Workshop have co-opted the term, right? Warhammer community, but it's not. And Nathan Prescott, best quote I ever had about community ever, when in regards to someone trying to build a bridge with me who I thought was fairly toxic, he said he's not in your community, or he's not in our community, and that's true. Our community, not ours, and it's not insular. It's not like ours, everyone fuck off. It's you just don't get on with everyone, and that's okay. And you shouldn't have to get on with everyone, because that's fucking weird, right? Because there's all racists, sexists, fucking, I don't get on with any of them. I don't have any time for that. And so, I'm just all about, you guys. Thank you. Because I've said this before on one of the shows before, is that it's been fucking cool getting all of you to be my mates, because you're just a fucking great bunch of dicks who I'd hang out with all day. There you go, there's the quote, I guess. You're just a great bunch of dicks I'd hang out with all the time. How's that sound? Is that fucking fine? That's how I feel. And I appreciate it more than I ever thought I would appreciate. I didn't, because when I was working for Games Workshop and I was doing it for them, I was front of house for a business and I was talking to customers. Whereas now I'm just me talking to people who I like and then who like me, right? So that's what I'm trying to say, is that you guys are breathtaking. Is that I just get to hang out and it's good. So that's good. So that's what I've learned in 500 days. That I didn't think I would necessarily ever appreciate that. I think everything I've ever done up until the 500 days was me learning. Thanks, Pete Pratt, for donating £20. But no one, Pete is a wonderful person. For example, Pete has got this whole community in Northern Ireland that he works so hard to make amazing, and he's wonderful, and he shouldn't donate £20 to me, and I'm gonna fucking send it back to him, or make Colin buy him something or something. Thank you, Pete. It's very lovely of you. Anyway, so that's the community bit. What else? Oh no, that's my personal bit on the community. Other bits on the community. You should curate your space. Just block people and move on. Now, some people are like, oh, you'll just have an echo chamber. And you know what? That's fine. Because I want an echo chamber. Because the things I value are being kind, being funny, adult conversations where you just have hard conversations and you can respect each other. You don't have to agree, but you can just have a conversation. That takes a little bit more fucking courage than I think some people have. Humility, things like that. And when you don't have it, like that's all I want in my echo chamber. That's all I want in my echo chamber. So I just gotta fucking block them. Like, any toxicity, just fucking block it. Like, criticism also isn't toxicity. Just FYI. We all know that. You guys know that. I've been cleaning house lately. So good, says Diadrin. There's not going to be some high-level discussion with some rando on Twitter. There isn't, Iron Gutsman. There isn't. That's the fucking point. You're not going to have an in-depth conversation on Twitter with anyone. Because, like, nor on Facebook. You're not going to do it. Like, look at the faction reactions I've done recently. You've had these wonderful people on who, like, passionately care about their faction. That's what they do. Like, they're obsessed with them, right? Like, some fucking rando on Twitter. Like, and I haven't, like, I haven't got some fucking guy who's just, like, written his own fan fiction about a thing. Like, I've got gamers to talk about the game, right? Like, Math Mallow with his fucking trees. Like, that guy plays trees. Like, some other person who hasn't actually touched trees for like 2 years shouldn't be talking about it, nor criticising Math Mallow who has, right? So, thanks, Hams fan, for donating a gift sub to Tavi Gain. Tavi Gain's great. And it's definitely not all about WhatsApp because of one fucking person who ruins every WhatsApp group, Dan. One person, yeah? Okay. Will Dockerell, thanks for the last 500 days. I've had some really shitty days over the last year and you've helped me loads. My pleasure. You've helped me too, Will Dockerell. Imagine I feel exactly the same. You've all helped me, I hope, as much as I've helped you. So curate your space, block people, move on. Next thing about community, the positive side of that, when you see people doing stuff that you like, uplift it. Share their stuff, tweet their stuff, message them and just be like, love your shit. Like, that's cool. Retweet their stuff, like a comment, fucking any of that stuff. Stuff you love. Just like lift it up, right? Lift it up and just be like, this is great. That should be something that we all try and do more. Like, it's trying some things I do on my like timeline. I'll like always retweet something. Like, I'm like, that's cool, I'll retweet that. That's cool, I'll retweet that. So you should try and do that, is what I'm saying. And I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to try and do that more. That's actually probably something I don't even do enough, and something I could try and do more. Thanks, Tokyo Nift, for subscribing. Big love to you. Bomb Squid, got to run, but I'll catch the rest on YouTube. Thanks for the entertainment. 500 days. It's been a pleasure. These are a pleasure. Why not ask fan fiction writers about how they build their armies and play them? Might be interesting to get a different perspective, says Shelf Loathing. Why not ask fan fiction writers about how they build their armies? I could, but I'm not like a narrative... Like, build, like, I don't do that. But I could do that. That's fine. I've read a couple of great connection there, but I don't get into, okay. Retweet to save lives. Gabawaki, you've got it. We only tweet to save lives. That's the only reason we tweet. Can't wait for it. See you later, Red Chameleos. Big love. Right, anyway. Next up, for community... is support the people who support you. That feels like a no-brainer, especially for someone like me, because I'm supported by all of you full-time. So, like, it feels like a no-brainer to support you, which is why I think some of the things that we've tried to do recently is... Like Adam Chuckabutty, big shout out to him. He did design the score sheets for people, so you can track your Age of Sigmar 3 games. You know, I've just put a blog post up today about stuff for your first tournament. Did a video about that recently. Like, I'm trying to support the community the best way I can. Like, I've had wonderful people. I'm not sure I'm saying it yet. Like, reach out about making an app, which was great. Ziggy shouted out about making the stats. The stats team jumped in about like inputting the stats. Like support the people who support you is always going to be the thing. But then it goes on like a more personal level, something I've learned in 500 days. If someone's just always got your back all the time, just have their back all the time. And if there's someone who's only antagonistic, just block them. And then just, that's what I'm saying, right? I barely tweet, says Hams fan. Just lean back and eat popcorn. I should do more positive tweets though. Hams fan, I'm not saying be positive for positivity's sake, but if you love something, just fucking tweet it out there or retweet it or share it, right? Or just say, if you just comment underneath it, I really like this, fucking makes people's day, is what I'm going to say. So that's community. I learned about that in 500 days. Okay, as a streamer, I've done that. Did you? Oh, no, I wrote the blog post, hey? How's that sound? And I guess the last bit is Games Workshop. What have I learned about Games Workshop and Warhammer? Because Warhammer, when I mentioned the game, obviously I was talking about Warhammer. What have I learned about Games Workshop in 500 days? Nothing new is what I've learned. I've learned that that it's a corporation full of really lovely people, and that corporation isn't a very great corporation, but they make something that I really love. And I have divested the thing that I love away from the company, and you should do the same, because that's never going to be healthy. Just take the thing that you like and put it separate from a company, because it's going to be bad for your mental health. And that's and I don't think they've got any worse. I think they've always been shitty, and I think they're going to continue to be shitty. And I don't think that's ever going to change. I don't think it's like, oh, they used to be great and then they weren't. I think that's all crap. And I think people who advocate for them in that way are probably people you should probably avoid, because they're probably super unhealthy people. People who gaslight, like toxic fucking relationships you have and other stuff, you know, just like really dark stuff, you know, like, oh, you should love your family. It's like, well, my family hit me since I was a child. Like, should I love them? Oh, and they'll fall down because they're toxic people. So just avoid them. And that's all I've got to say on that front. I don't really. That's the other thing I learned in these 500 days, is I don't really ever want to talk about them as a company ever again. I just love the thing. And that doesn't have to be connected to a company. It can be connected to all of the creators in the company, because that's really important, because they're talented and they're smart and they're funny. All of that is so important, that those people are connected to the things that they make. Everything else, I'll leave by the wayside. I know that's that's what I'm going to say. Right, I really like this. Thanks, Bebo Harris. The plus side is we'd have way less content if Games Workshop were more competent. That's true, Scott B. That's true. And I think that brings me on to my final point. What have I learned in 500 days about talking about Warhammer? Okay. My final point is that the whole thing should only be fun. Now, I want to take loads of the elements seriously, especially gaming. I want to take that super seriously. I want to respect the gamesmanship of the talented players who play at a very high level. I want to respect the creativity of the gamers who like build amazing, beautiful armies and great narrative and are very smart and creative like that. I want to respect the people who know all of the deep lore and make deep lore jokes. I want to respect the people who build communities or are TOs or any of those other things. That's what I want to do, and I want to take that seriously, but I don't want to be too serious about it. I just want to have loads of fun. That's what I learned in 500 days about talking about Warhammer, is that it should be fun. And anything that doesn't make it fun is something I'm going to actively avoid or push out of my life. Jesus Christ, it's only taken 2 years. Says James Powell. Hey, Dr. Omerex. Dromerex? I'm not sure. Anyway. This almost sounds like a long-winded goodbye. It's not. It's not. Like, it's just a 500 days conclusion is what it is. And I hope it's not too lame laying it out there. But that's it. So if I was going to do a Ronmania, what would my bullet points be? And my bullet points after a year, yeah, it's great to reflect. It's great to reflect and unpack on your feelings and talk about how you feel. And if going forward, it's just have fun. Like, just have a great fucking time. I don't need to be the smartest person in the room. Yeah? I don't need to be the wisest or the most correct. You know? Like, I don't need to be, like, the top gamer that got there because they're just running something broke anyway, so give a fuck, who got advanced knowledge because they've invested time into buddying up to people who give them advanced knowledge, which is just super fucked. Like, super fucked. Like, as a community, we should really be talking about how fucking toxic that is. That's super toxic. Like, that should be like a whole show on its own. Like, it should just be having fun with the people who you find fun in the places you find fun. That's it. That's my one bullet point. That's it. Fucking put that in the bank. Done. Ronmania. Just go and have a laugh. And also, probably, take the piss quite a lot. is the other part. That's something to aim for. Try to be the person having the most fun in the room and being the most fun to be around, says Couch Warrior. That's it. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. Your humour and knowledge over COVID still do. Thanks very much. B. Bao Harness. And now make some goddamn Lunar faction reaction, you slacker. I'm on it. Okay? The problem is that too many people find being toxic fun, but just don't hang around with them. Just tell them to fuck off. Right. That's it. That's all I got. So unless anyone's got anything that they want to add for the end of today, 500 days of talking about Warhammer has been an experience. It's been funny. It's been very fucking funny. I don't think it's ever been hard. It's been hard some days because some of the things are hard, like ripping you off with an app or not selling stuff or people cheating or whatever, like stuff that just is negative anyway. But talking about Warhammers is great. Like, that's the best bit. I appreciate how Rob picks holes in the Blue and Games Workshop without being super negative about how much fun we have with Warhammer. Thanks, it's Thundergore. Because they're different things. Spy Center tonight. Spy Center is tonight. 40k Spy Center will be on tonight. Me, Nick, and Tom. Maybe Logan is back. I'm not sure. Iron Gutsman is correct. Know your rules. Iron Gutsman, that goes in my list. That goes in Ronmania. Know your rules. I'm doing that. I'm writing that down right now. That's going on my bullet points. Have fun, know your rules. It's to know your rules. It's 100% in there. Trogs, and also Trogs. Know your rules, though. Okay, all right, well, great. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you for the donations. I'm overwhelmed by your kindness. I've been overwhelmed by your kindness for 500 days. We didn't have internet that worked very well at the start. You guys raised money for a router. I don't know if you remember, but you did. We did Christmas, and we were like, maybe we'll 3D print terrain. And you guys were like, that's a great idea. Then we got 3D printers, and then you had to listen to me talk about terrain for 8 months. It's kind of on you, if I'm honest. That's your fault. The computer blew up, and you guys just like got a new computer in like a week. It was like crazy. So thank you. It's been super kind. And Kill Panic, big love to you. Well, I'm back tomorrow. I'm back tonight for the Spy Center, and I am back again tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, I'm interviewing Duck Guts, who's a streamer, lovely fella, who came to his first 40k tournament literally this weekend. We're going to talk to him, see what that was like, talk about that experience, which is going to be really good. You got me a chair. You got me this chair, this comfy ass chair, which I'm sitting on. So that's great. What's the next thing, Brad Pitt Lord? Great question. I don't know. I'm going to be live still Monday through to Friday every week. I think pretty much that's my schedule. 12 till 1, I'm going to do it. Then the weekends, you just have to keep your eye out. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Probably going to be doing a lot of live streams from tournaments and stuff, so that's going to be good. So yeah, tonight the Spy Center, tomorrow the thingy. Still live Monday through to Friday. Still live Monday nights and Thursday nights with the two greatest crews a man could ask for. So yeah, thanks for hanging out for 500 days. Thank you for being you. You've made this great. Loads of love, and have a great day.